been involved in many criminal investigations and put a lot of bad guys away.
Not many, a few.
A few. In this case, what would you, who would you go after in a criminal investigation? When I say who, I'm not exactly saying an individual name, but who in a broader sense.
I have no idea at this point. Frankly, we're collectively guilty of being gadgetitists. We love gadgets. We're addicted to our gadgetry. America is convinced that a technology solution will take care of it. In this case, the technology is paper. It's a great technology. A criminal investigation at this point, I care about getting the democracy back. I want a democracy. I know that when a vote is finished, it's the actual way the people's will was brought forward. At this point, I don't care about a criminal investigation. In fact, the only thing I think is really useful at this point, because you can set up one of these systems, intercept and tear the thing down an hour after the vote is done, and unless you have some very dedicated people at FBI Cyber, there's people who could investigate it, but somebody at the top has to make the decision to put a significant amount of manpower on this, and as far as I know, nobody wants to do that. And frankly, even if they did, it's a huge country. It's a huge country. But we, the people, need to make a decision that we want to have a knowable result of our election. And frankly, I don't... Vox clamatis in deserto, my friend. I have been saying this. In 1998, I went on the record publicly, and I have been on the record every year for a decade about it. And it doesn't seem to help.
So realizing the problems that we face in this upcoming election,
yes,
what would you recommend other to
do you have an absentee process? Do you have a paper ballot?
Yeah.
Great, go use it. If all of a sudden entire precincts, every single person starts showing up saying, no, I'll take the paper ballot, I want to do absentee, I want to mail in my ballot. Mail-in ballots have a few ways you can be defrauded, but they're a lot safer than an electronic system, and I've looked at both in detail. But what would really be better is if we move back to what worked so well for 190 years, which is people gathering in a central place, putting people that are trustworthy members of your community, your grandmothers and stuff, at a card table. You fill the things out in a booth, you fold it up, or you pull levers that punch a piece of paper. I appreciate that there are some flaws in the way hanging chads work at times, but those flaws are in the minuscule percentage compared to the manipulation and damage you can do by transformation of digital data. Digital data you can make 0 or 1 million instantaneously. And you'll never know.
Have you ever heard of, in your travels, have you ever heard of people bragging or talking about manipulating votes electronically?
I've watched many people do many kinds of hacks to see if they work.
All right, thank you very much.
Generally, because you gotta understand, I've been so public about the fact of this for so long. If I'm in the room, there's not a lot of people that are going to say, I was involved in that vote theft.
Since you've kind of come out publicly about this, have you caught?
I was public about it before anyone even knew what a voting machine was.
But have you caught any heat, any pressure?
Yes.
I mean, have they asked you to be quiet and not talk about this?
Yes.
And do you think that's because they have something to hide? Or?
Yes. Now, of course, the explanation is always, you are reducing America's assurance in our voting system. I said, correct! Because there is no assurance in this voting system. And they're like, but people will doubt their vote. I said, they should! It's being stolen!
Is anybody saying to you, hey, Steve, you're a Republican, the Democrats stole elections back in the 60s or whatever, and this is payback, and we're better at this, or anything like that?
As I had a very good friend who worked in a senior position in this administration who said, and I paraphrase slightly out of respect to him, he says, it's just a different methodology. It's like Daley got us in 64, it's even.
So they're better at it now.
Except, as I repeatedly said, 62. Sorry, Mr. Daly. As I've repeatedly said, the problem is you think you control this genie, and you don't. You've built a hackable system, and there's hundreds of sharks who all want to hack it, and you will not know who the final hacker was. Great, let's see 3 or 4 groups trying to, you know something? The whole point is we don't know anymore. We don't know. I want to know who won. I don't mind losing, but I want the game to be fair. I want the vote to be counted. I want to live in a democracy. It's not that complicated.
Do you believe that the target now is a very small subset of swing states or even counties within those swing
The
states?
target, as far as I can tell, has always been the same from the beginning. It's a Supreme Court that will overturn Roe v. Wade. When you look at which votes are hacked and why, it's either to affect the judiciary committees or the executive to make sure that agenda wins in the long run. And the people I believe are most involved in it think very long term, and that is the goal.